If you would like to request a video, send an email to questions@newstitchaday.com. How to crochet the traditional basic granny square, left-handed. For this tutorial, you will need a crochet hook and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Jiffy line in the color Country Green. For this stitch, you will need to know the following techniques: chain stitch, slip stitch, single crochet, double crochet. Okay, to begin this stitch, we're going to do a foundation chain of 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then we're going to join these in the round by inserting our hook into the first chain in our row and then yarning over and pulling through both stitches on our hook. Okay, so that gives us our little round there. Okay, for round 1 we're going to chain 3, and this is going to count as our first double crochet stitch. Okay, next we're going to do 2 more double crochets into the center of this round. So we're not going to go through any of these stitches, we're going to go right into the middle. Alright, so we'll yarn over and yarn over, pull through, and work the double crochet. Okay, and we'll do that one more time. Alright, next we're going to do 2 chains, and this is going to form the corner of our square. Alright, so now we're going to do 3 double crochets, and you can see I'm taking our tail here and I'm kind of working it into this round as we do the double crochets. That's going to save time weaving in ends. You can just clip that off once you're finished. Alright, that's 1. 2 and 3. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that 2 more times. We're going to chain 2 and double crochet 3. And remember, we just want to carry that loose yarn, the tail, with us as we go along. Alright, so that's another 3, and you can see our square is starting to form here. So we'll do the corner of the next one. And then our 3 double crochets. Okay, so we're almost finished with our first round here. Just going to finish this double crochet. So what we're going to do next is we're going to chain 1 to finish the round, and then in our first 3 chain stitch that we did here, we're going to go up to the 3rd chain. So 1, 2, 3, and if you know anything about crochet, you'll know that there is the top part of the stitch and the bottom part of the stitch, which is a little difficult to see, but there's a little bar underneath the stitch, and we want to go right in between those 2 to connect them with the slip stitch. So you can see here we have the top part of the stitch, which is kind of like an arrow, and then this little bar underneath. Okay, so just be careful that you're not splitting the stitch. I think I might have actually split it. Okay, so we're just going to insert that into that space in between the stitches. Okay, and we're going to pull those together with a slip stitch right through there, and then we're going to do a single crochet, which is going to create our corner. Round 2. We're going to begin by chaining 3. Now this is going to be our first double crochet, just like it was in the last stitch that we did. Okay, then we're going to do 2 more double crochets into this chain space right below. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next 2 chain space, which is this corner right here. Alright, so that's 2. And 3, then we'll work 2 chains. And we're forming a new corner here is what we're doing. And then do 3 more double crochets into that same corner. So technically this is a shell stitch because we're taking multiple chain or crochet stitches and working them into one chain space. So you may see some patterns written that way. This pattern will not be written that way, so it'll be a little bit easier to understand. Alright, so we chain 1, and we're just going to repeat this around the row. So we're going to chain once and then 3 double crochets into the next 2 chain space. Then we'll be doing 2 chains for the corner, and then 3 more right next to it. 3 more double crochets. Okay, and we can see our granny square is forming really nicely now. Okay, we're going to do another chain space. We're going to work the last corner here before we get to the end of the round. So 3 more double crochets. Two chain spaces, or 2 chains, and 3 more double crochets into the same corner. Okay, so we're going to work 1 chain, and then we're going to finish this corner here, the other half. So we're going to do 3 double crochets to finish the other half of the corner. Okay, then we'll chain 1, and we're going to finish this just like we did on the previous round. We're going to find the 3rd chain on here and then go into that middle of the stitch. Okay, we're not going through the top of the stitch here. Okay, we're going to go right underneath these 2 strands and pull through, and then do a single crochet together. Alright, for round 3, we're going to begin by chaining 3. Then we're going to work a double crochet into the same chain space here. And 1 more. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and we will be working 3 double crochets into the next chain space, which is this one right here. Alright, then we're going to do 1 chain space and 3 more double crochets into this 2 chain space on the corner. So we'll work this corner just like we worked the corner in the previous round. Alright, so that's 3 double crochets and then 2 chains and then 3 more double crochets. Alright, so basically we're going to repeat the chain 1 and the double crochet, 3 double crochets into this chain space, and then the chain 1 and work the corner all the way around this until we get to the end of the round. Okay, so we're going to work the corner. And then 2 chain and work the other half of the corner. And we can see how the granny square is building upon itself. We had our center and our first 4 rounds here. Then we worked the corners of this round, and now we're working the corners, but we're also working into these chain spaces here and here and here. And the next round we'll be working into the chain spaces here and here. So we're now going to be continually working the chain spaces in this pattern all the way around, and when we get to the corner, we work the corner as normal with the 3 double crochets, the 2 chains, and the 3 double crochet, just like we did right here. So, and this can go on infinitely. You know, you could make a whole afghan just by continually working the granny square till it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, what most people like to do is work a square to a certain size and then sew those together until you have a blanket. Now you could also work each of these rounds in a different color if you wanted to. You could work any variation of the round in color. So you could do, you know, these 2 rounds in one color and then 2 more rounds in another color. Alright, so that's another corner So we just have one more chain space and then the other half of this corner here. Right, there's one more double crochet, then we'll do a chain and 3 double crochets to finish the other half of the corner. Okay, then we'll work one chain, work into the top of this stitch here, in between the stitch actually, if I can find it. There we go. Pull through and then work the single crochet. Now you could continue this, working this pattern as long as you want. I'm going to stop here, but I'll leave instructions for a few extra rounds in the show notes for this stitch on our website. So that's how you do the traditional basic granny square. Want more New Stitch a Day? Check out our website at newstitchaday.com. New Stitch a Day is a Craftery Media production. This video is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution No Derivatives 3.0 unported license, which means use it on your website, put it in your patterns, but please don't change anything.